Hey everyone, welcome back to another edition of Leading the Averitt Way. I'm your host, Alice Crabtree, and I'm so glad that you joined us today. Today we're going to talk to a very special guest, Stacy Ware. Stacy is our Operations Manager from our Atlanta West Service Center in Georgia, and we're so happy to have him here. Stacy's been with Averitt for 24 years, and we're going to talk about his role as a leader. Thanks so much for joining me today on Leading the Averitt Way video series. I appreciate you coming and spending some time with us. You know, one of the reasons that I wanted to invite you to come spend some time with us and talk to our fellow leaders is because the years of experience that you have. I know you've been with us for 24 years.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about your Averitt career, what brought you here, and Stacey, tell us what has kept you with Averitt.
Came in 2000, July 31st, 2000. Was at Army Air Force Exchange, matter of fact.
Okay.
Right outside of Moreland Avenue, off Moreland Avenue. Used to have drivers come through Averitt all the time. Was one particular driver. It's been so many years I can't remember his name. But he was always telling me, you know, Stacey, you pretty bright, young man, and then you're in the shipping and receiving, which I was in at the time.
Okay.
And he used to tell me, you know, why don't you try to come at Averitt? You know, it's not too far down the road. You know, I think you'll make it a good associate if you try to come down. So, you know, lo and behold, 3.5, 4 years later, I finally decided to make the jump and went down and interviewed, and they told me that day, interviewed like on a Wednesday, Thursday. They called me back. They told me Friday, could you be in Cookeville by Sunday? That's when we had to go to Cookeville.
Yes.
So, yeah, I told them, no problem. Yeah, I want to work. And told me I would be working at night, which was a change.
Okay.
And I'll be yard jockeying, yard hustling.
Yes.
For those of you who don't know what that is, that's moving trailers in the yard, helping facilitate trailers being put to the dock and whatnot. So I did that. Cut to a few years later. At the time, I was at Southeast Atlanta.
Yep.
And, we went through the changes with the service centers.
Yes.
And the SCA was the one that closed down. So at the time, I wasn't that long with the company, so I had to move. So I went to Atlanta East and was on the dock working inbound. We had a lot of hours because we was, brand new, opening up a relay.
Right.
And this one particular house manager at the time, his name was Jim Esmond. He's no longer with us.
Yeah.
And he approached me and said, hey, Stacey, you're a young man. I think you may have a future in this business. Would you look at being a frontline leader or becoming a frontline leader? And I told him, I said, well, I want the opportunity. He told me, I think you'll make a good candidate. So I started doing frontline leader type jobs. I, was, helped start the shift on the relay. Was running relay at the time and cut to 2008. Was able to be promoted by kind of work I've done and that I helped with Atlanta East at the time. And was no problem with the freight that we had. And at the time I was there, we were able to get a new account, U-Line, which I'm pretty sure you all know of.
Oh, yes.
And the importance of it. And December 2016, I was able to be promoted, not promoted, but actually transfer rather, to Atlanta West, where I'm at that's currently now. And I've been there ever since. And, Averitt, love Averitt. Great company. Wouldn't change anything by no means.
And one of the things that you just shared with us is, always Averitt. Part of the Always Averitt plan that our company has in place is to talk about and continue to promote associates to be promoted from within. And you're a beautiful example of that.
Thank you.
And the opportunities are continuing to grow for you. The sky's the limit, right?
Yes.
No matter what. Well, Stacey, let me ask you this. Since we have leaders listening to us, we always want to be able to provide some good tips for them, some good advice, some good direction that's helped us in our role as a leader. So when you became a leader, what was maybe some of the first challenges that you've seen in being a leader? Especially when you were at one time maybe on the same, plane with the rest of them. You were, dock associates. You were all doing the same job, and then you are promoted to a leader. How did you grow in that area?
One, by listening.
Very good.
I took advice from my mentor, like I said, Jim at the time, and just listen to guys.
Right.
I wanted to make sure that even though I was at one point one of them,
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to make sure I listened to their issues, listened to their problems, and make sure I was in position to help them if I could.
Yes.
If I not, I can go to my leader, and the servicing director, and or ops manager at the time, and see if we can get that fixed or get that changed what we needed. The only other challenge was just coming from a dock associate to leadership.
Yes.
It is a change.
Yes, it is.
It's a mindset, and you have to be willing to be challenged, and you got to be willing to have corrective, mindset for individuals if they do anything to the point where you got to correct issues or correct policies or enact policies and so on and so forth.
Coaching them.
Coach, exactly.
So when you guys have meetings, say you have your agenda meetings and it's your dock associates or your driver meetings, what advice would you give a leader who is maybe new to the role or who has not given a meeting, have not led a meeting? What advice would you give a new leader on how to take charge of a room, how to work the room, how to see the room, how to respect those associates' time, who are in that meeting? But say you have someone who's a little disruptive. Let me just throw that at you. What would you do? What advice would you give a leader on that?
Well, I would always take the advice of someone giving me, talk to them, not at them.
Yeah.
And if you have an associate that's maybe a little upset or maybe a little rowdy, first of all, I'll tell that individual, look, let's get through this meeting. Maybe you can talk, more privately. And that way I get that associate that issue that he or she has, and maybe they just something they want to get off their chest. They just, didn't find the forum to do it at that time. So that's would be the second thing I'll do. But to tell a new leader, just be yourself. Just be confident, be yourself. You're all associates, so there's no need to be nervous, which in human, you will be nervous.
Yeah.
But just take your time, get through the information that you got to get through, and be personable.
I love that.
Just don't let, because you're in a leadership role, be the point where you can't give out information. We're a family.
Yes.
And we need to act like that. And then when you give out a meeting, you're talking to another family member.
Yeah.
What we need to do, he or she, what we need to do.
Making sure we communicate with them the correct information that they need.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to ask you one question right here. We're just about done. If you could talk to your younger self,
Okay.
what would you say to your younger self about being the leader you are today? What advice would you give yourself?
I would tell my younger self, the sky's the limit. Basically, what you put in is what you're going to get out of it. Averitt is a great company. You got tremendous opportunities. Take advantage of those opportunities.
Yes.
And build relationships and learn from your mistakes and to continue to grow.
Leaders, thank you so much for spending time with us today. Thank you, Stacey, for coming and spending time with us, sharing some great tips to our fellow leaders. We appreciate you. Thank you for your years of service to Averitt. The sky's the limit for you.
Thank you.
Leaders, thanks again for joining us, and I'll see you next time on Leading the Averitt Way.